Welcome to Medrash Rabbah on the Torah. We are here for Parshas Ki Tetze. We are going to discuss a pasuk, a verse in the Sefer written by Shlomo Melech King Solomon, Sefer Mishlei. Shlomo Melech over there writes that the ways of life you shall not try to balance and see and estimate. The ways of life, right? Says Shlomo Melech. The movements you shall not know. So says the Medrash, what exactly Shlomo Melech referring to here? What is his point? So the Medrash brings a mashal, a parable, to understand what Shlomo Melech is referring to. That don't try to estimate and evaluate and establish for yourself the ways of life and try to balance things out. It brings a parable of a king. He hires a bunch of workers to take care of his field. Now the king does not tell the workers which parts of the fields, which crops are worth what. Because he didn't want that the more expensive ones, all the workers will migrate there, and they'll leave aside the cheaper items. So therefore he tells, this guy, go work by this tree. This guy work by this tree. This guy work by this tree. In the evening, when they all come back, so the king starts telling them, by the way, the tree that you worked is worth this price, right? This tree is worth $200. This tree is worth $300. This tree is worth $1,000 of profits. So the workers tell him, why didn't you tell us the worth of the trees? We would have all put all our efforts into that tree and made sure that you get the best of the best out of there. So the king says, that's exactly why I didn't tell you, because you guys would have left out the less important things, and it would come out that my whole field is not taken care of as a whole. I want it all to be taken care of. So says the Medrash, this is exactly what the lesson Shlomo Melech is telling the people about how to focus their energy in life about which things are important and not, specifically when it refers to Torah and mitzvahs. That Shlomo Melech is saying that when it comes to Torah and mitzvahs, and truthfully you could apply it to anything, to some extent, God did not, in the Torah, Hashem did not in the Torah tell us the rewards. He didn't tell us the worth of every single mitzvah. Why is that? Because He wanted us to take every mitzvah equally as important when it comes to being done, and that we shouldn't, chas v'sholem, leave aside some and put all of our focus or our time into one specific mitzvah. Says the Medrash, however, the Torah did give us the reward in two mitzvahs. One of them is in our parsha, right? Says the Medrash, by kan tziper, the mitzvah shuloch haken, that one the Torah does describe, and ki ve'im. By both of them, the Torah says that the mitzvah, the reward is arichas yamim, a long life. Why did the Torah do that? So interestingly enough, because both of them have something quite interesting factors. Ki ve'im is probably one of the most difficult mitzvahs to keep. Kan tziper is one of the easiest mitzvahs. So says the Medrash, the Torah specifically told us the reward by the most complicated and the least complicated. And interestingly enough, both of them happen to be the same reward. So that, on the contrary, the Torah comes to show us how really you never know what the reward's going to be. Do you see that something which is the most complex, something which is the least complex, have the same exact reward? So that should sort of ground us even more to see how we can choose on our own, because on our own cheshbon, our own calculation, we may think this is more important. So therefore, this is what Shlomo Melech is telling us, that the way you're supposed to appreciate mitzvahs, and therefore put your energy into them, should be exactly the same for all of them. Because God did not want you to know, He specifically did not want you to know which ones are more important or not. And for that exact reason, He didn't. And this is how He wants you to approach it. So whether or not one may be important or not, the fact is, the one who told us to do these mitzvahs views them as being done all the same, and that's how He wants us to approach them. So therefore, that is a general lesson in life. When we have a responsibility, whatever the responsibilities are given to us, they are all equally important because they all have to be done. We are not to worry about what the worth is, what not. We're not the bosses. We're the doers. We're supposed to follow. Have a great week.